Hi students, Santosh here. Today I am going to deliver the lecture number 8 part 2 of irrigation engineering and which contains the cross drainage works. It is very important topic as far as MPSC mains civil engineering is concerned and also useful for diploma and degree level students and also useful for the young and experienced engineers to brush up their knowledge and for orientation. So let us start my lecture number 8 part 2 on cross drainage works. First of all, you must know what is the cross drainage work. Name itself indicates it is crossing the drainage, means it is the crossing of natural nala or a river. Irrigation structures which are constructed for carrying the canal water safely over or under the drainage water are called as a cross drainage works. In this chapter, we are dealing two types of water. First is the canal water and second is the drainage water, means the water flowing through the river or a nala or a stream. So water flowing through the nala, stream or a river is termed as a drainage water, and the water which is flowing through the canal for irrigation purpose or other purposes is termed as a canal water. And structures which are constructed to carry the canal water over or under the drainage water are termed as a cross drainage work. So you must know this type of cross drainage work. Another type of cross drainage work is constructed on the roads to carry the natural streams below the road surface, and such a structures may be a pipe culvert, may be a box culvert, or may be a bridge, and such a structures are also called as a cross drainage or CD works. So you must know the difference between cross drainage works in canal and CD works on the roads. So you must remember this difference. When a canal is taken off from the reservoir, it makes various natural drainages. It meets the various types of natural drainages before reaching to the watershed line. In this range, cross drainage works are required to be constructed. The construction of cross drainage works is very costly. Hence, the alignment of the canal should be such that there should have the minimum cross drainage works. And to make such a cross drainage works minimum, we can make the diversion of the stream flow, which is shown in this figure. We can make the diversion to avoid the costly CD works. This is the canal flow and we are making diversions here. Here this is the diversion, here the diversion, here is the diversion. We can make such a diversions to avoid the costly CD works. Then we are going to discuss the types of cross drainage works. It is very important uh, aspect of cross drainage works, and all these structures are asked in various types of examination. The first is the aqueduct, second structure is the super passage, third structure is the level crossing, and fourth structure is the inlet and outlet. So you must remember these four types of structure. In this figure, the capital N shows the natural drainage, capital C shows the irrigation channel or a canal, and these horizontal lines shows the regulator, cross regulator, head regulators. Such regulators are placed to regulate the flow of water or a discharge. So first of all, we must know the aqueduct. Then we are going to discuss the super passage. First of all, we go to aqueduct. What is the aqueduct? Aqueduct is the irrigation structure constructed for passing the canal water safely over the drainage water. Means in aqueduct, the natural river or a stream is at lower level and canal is at higher level. Such a structure is seen near Solapur, near Mohol, and such a structure is called as aqueduct to carry the canal water over the drainage water. Near Mohol, the drainage water is the Sina river and the aqueduct is used to carry the canal water. Then we are going to discuss the situations which favors the construction of aqueduct. First, the discharge of the drain is more as comparison with the canal discharge. That is very important. The discharge of drain is more or stream is more. Second, the bed level of canal is sufficiently above the HFL of the drain or HFL of that particular river. You must see any aqueduct nearby your city and you get all these points or all these situations which favors the aqueduct. And when the high flood level of the drain is much higher above the canal bed, in such a situation the aqueduct is also used, but such a aqueduct is working on the siphonic action, and such a aqueduct is called as a siphonic aqueduct. In such a situation the drainage is siphoned. Okay, so please look at this figure. The first figure shows the regular aqueduct, in which this is the drain, this is the HFL of the drain which is shown here, this is the canal, this is the full supply level of the canal, and the roadway is constructed near canal for the inspection. And such a structure where canal is located above the drain is called as aqueduct, and this is a siphonic aqueduct in which the drain is siphoned. Okay, why drain is siphoned? Because the HFL of the drain is above the canal bed level. This is the canal bed level and the HFL is above the canal bed level. In such a situation, such a structure or drainage water or drain is to be siphoned, and such a structure is called as a siphonic aqueduct. Then we are going to discuss the super passage. What is the super passage? It is the reverse case of aqueduct. In super passage, the canal water or canal is below and the drain water is carried above the canal water, and such a structure which is constructed to carry the drain water over the canal water is called as a super passage. So it is the reverse of aqueduct. Super passage is constructed under following situations. First, the discharge of the drain, it is also reverse. The discharge of the drain is small as comparison with the canal discharge, means the discharge of canal is more, and sufficient clearance is available between the full supply level of canal and the drain bed. This is the full supply level of the canal and this is the drain bed. This level is called as the drain bed, and sufficient clearance must be available for that, and such a structure is called as a super passage. And here is also siphonic or siphon super passage. In such a case, in for that particular structure, the canal bed is depressed and the ramp is provided at the exit so as to deposition of silt is to be minimized. This ramp, the canal bed is depressed. This is the canal. This is the canal and this canal bed is depressed. Okay, and for siphonic action, and such a structure is called as a siphonic super passage. Okay, and this is the HFL of that particular drain water. Okay, so you must remember all these figures for descriptive type of examination, not for MCQs. But for MCQs sometimes also some figures are given in the examination and you have to identify that particular type of structure. In such a case you must know all the figures. Then third case or third type of CD work, cross drainage work, is the level crossing. Name in itself indicates the drain water and the canal water are practically at the same level, and such a type, for such a cross section or such a intersection, particular type of regulators are to be provided, and such a structure is called as a level crossing. When the canal bed level and drain bed level are practically same, drain water is taken into the canal and it is allowed to intermingle with the canal water, and such a type of cross drainage work is called as a level crossing, and it is constructed under the following situations. The RL of the canal bed and RL of the natural drain are practically the same. The discharge of the drain and discharge through the canal is approximately of same magnitude, and the duration of the flood in the drain in short period and silt load brought by the flood water is less. So silting is less due to that flood water or water in the drain, and no other structure is economically feasible. These four situations are favoring the construction of the level crossing. So this is the level crossing, this is the drainage water, okay, and this is the canal water. Both are at practically same level, and regulators are provided here and here to regulate the discharge through the canal and also to regulate the discharge through the drainage. Then we are going to discuss the cross regulator. Cross regulators are the regulators which are constructed in the main canal or a parent canal downstream of an off-taking canal is called as a cross regulator. It is generally constructed at a distance of 9 to 12 km along the main canal and 6 to 10 km along the branch canal. So you must remember these kilometers for the MCQs. 9 to 12 km along the main canal, cross regulator is provided, or 6 to 10 km along the branch canal. And function of the cross regulator: first of all, regulator means to regulate the flow of water, that is the first function, or to control the flow of water in the canal. Second is to feed the off-taking canal. Feeding of canal is also important to enable the closing of the canal breaches on the downstream side and to provide roadway for the vehicular traffic. This is also important function for that cross regulator, is provides the roadway. So you must remember all these functions of cross regulator, and please remember this figure. In this figure the cross regulators are shown here, gate is also shown, then a parent canal is flowing in this direction. Here are the head regulator is provided here, and this is the plan of cross regulator. Then we are going to discuss the canal escape. Canal escape, name itself indicates it escapes. It escapes the canal, means it escapes the canal water. The irrigation structures which are constructed to escape the extra water from the canal into natural drain or a nala is called as a canal escape. They are located, this distance is important, 5 to 10 km along the length of the major canal near the natural drain. So that is very important, 5 to 10 km center to center the canal escapes are provided. The function, as already discussed, the function is same as that of spillway. The canal escape is constructed for purpose of wasting of some its water or escaping some canal water into the drainage. The types of canal escape are the canal scouring escape, surplus water escape, and tail escape. You must remember these three types. You know the CST, that is Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus. C means canal scoring escape here, S means surplus water escape here, and T means tail escape. So you must remember this CST for the canal escape. First figure, this figure shows the canal scoring escape is here, and this is the canal full supply level, okay, and this is the drainage and type of bank of escape channel. It is shown here, the banking is provided for that escape channel. The gate is also provided, and this is the bed of the canal. Bed pitching is done also, and such a structure, this is the roadway. So such a structure is called as a canal escape, and which is used to escape the water from canal to natural drain. Then second is the scoring escape or surplus water escape, and it is also used to escape the surplus water from canal to natural drain. And third one is the tail escape. In this tail escape, weir type of structure or weir wall is to be constructed. Pitching is to be done also on the side near the natural drain, and surplus water from the canal is escaped here from canal to natural drain, and such a type of escape is called as a tail escape. So you must remember these three figures. Sometimes in MCQ these three figures are provided and you have to identify which one is the tail escape. So whenever there is a weir, that is a tail escape. Purpose or objective of the canal escapes: to remove the surplus water from the irrigation canal into natural drain canal, or it may be termed as a channel, to avoid the damage to the channel by surplus water, to provide the safety wall of the canal just like a spillway for dam, and it saves the downstream section of the canal from overflow of banks. Okay. Then we are going to discuss the outlet and inlet. Name itself indicates inlet admit the water into the canal, and outlet which carry out the water from the canal. So inlet admits the water upstream into canal, and it flows and mixed with the canal water, and then excess discharge is allowed to pass through outlet. Means this is the drainage water which is mixed with the canal water, and this water is taken out from this outlet, and such a arrangement is called as outlet inlet or inlet outlet. The capacity of inlet outlet must be the same, and the sides and beds of the canal must be protected by the stone pitching to avoid the damages. Then we are going to discuss the irrigation outlets. There are different types of outlets also, as discussed or as shown earlier. The outlets are the structures which are constructed to admit the water into water courses or field channels for the irrigation. Means they have taken out the water from the main canal, branch canal or distributaries and supply that water to the farmers or distributaries or water courses. They are provided on the distributaries or miners. Okay, the function of the irrigation outlet to admit the water from the distributary or parent canal to the field canal means they are supplying the water to the lowermost channel or a canal to draw the proportional quantity of the silt. It is also important to measure the discharge released into field channel. So to measurement of discharge is very important factor, because farmers have to pay accordingly the water distributed to their field. So to measure that water or to measure the quantity of water, it acts as a meter, that is called as irrigation outlets. The classification of outlets are the simple or non-modular or pipe outlets, that is the first type, and second type is the modular type of outlets, that is first is the rigid module which is invented by the Gibbs, semi-rigid module which is invented by the Kennedy, and it is also termed as a flexible module. So we are going to discuss all these outlets one by one. First is a simple. Name itself indicates it is simple. It is just pipe-like structure, and which is termed as a non-modular. It consisting of the pipe fixed below the bank at a level of 15 to 20 centimeter below the full supply level of the parent canal or channel. A sliding gate is provided for regulating the discharge, and discharge through such a type of outlet is depending upon the water level in the parent canal and the field channel or canal. This is the distributing canal or a parent canal where water is to be supplied to this field canal or field channel, and this is the pipe type of structure which is provided, which is termed as a pipe outlet, and which is regulated by the gate also. Okay, and such a type of outlet is called as a pipe outlet or a simple outlet. Then we are and it is also termed as a non-modular. Then we are going to discuss the modular type of outlets. The first is the Gibbs module, and it is such a modular outlets. What is the speciality of the modular outlet is to maintain the discharge in the field canal irrespective of fluctuations in the water level in the parent or field channels. When there are fluctuation of water level in the parent or field canals, it has to regulate the discharge in the field channels or field canal, and such a structure is called as a modular outlet. This is the first type of modular outlet which is termed as a Gibbs module. This is the Gibbs module. It was designed by Mr. Gibbs. He was the executive engineer of Punjab Irrigation Department. It consisting of inlet pipe having a bell mouth entry. The discharge is kept constant, and the energy of water is destroyed between two successive baffles. Here are the baffles to destroy the energy. These are the baffles, and this is the bell mouth type of entry. And this type of module is costly and complicated, and hence nowadays it is not used. So costly and complicated things are going to obsolete. You must know that. And for that particular modular type of outlet, it is costly and complicated. That's why it is obsolete. But please look at this figure, please look at this bell mouth entry, please look at these baffles, and the water is going to the field course through this modular or Gibbs module. Then second is the semi-rigid type of module. It is invented by the R.G. Kennedy. R.G. Kennedy is Chief Engineer of Punjab Irrigation Department, and Gibbs was the Executive Engineer of the Punjab Irrigation Department. This semi-rigid module is invented in 1906. It consisting of the cast iron pipe of bell mouth entry. A vent pipe is provided with air holes at the top, and a long concrete pipe. The air vent pipe is the most important because it governs the discharge. In order to increase the discharge, the farmer has a tendency to close that air holes. Hence, it is not used nowadays. So it is also absolute. Please look at this cast iron pipe with bell mouth entry, and the water is carried out from here to field channel. Okay, and this is the pipe where the holes is to be provided, and these holes are closed by farmers to increase the discharge. So you must know this figure for Kennedy, and Kennedy invented this semi-rigid model. So you must remember this figure of semi-rigid model. Then there are all the time in descriptive type of examination, the difference between head regulator and cross regulator is all the time used in the examinations of the descriptive type of nature, but for objective also it is useful. What is the head regulator? We termed it as a HR. It is placed parallel to the direction of the flow in the main canal or a branch canal. So head regulator is placed parallel to the direction of flow, but the cross regulators are provided perpendicular to the direction of the flow. So this is most important and difference between head regulator and cross regulator. Head regulator controls the entry of water either from the reservoir or from the main canal. Means control of the discharge is through head regulator, and control of the flow of water is through cross regulator. Head regulator, it controls the entry of silt in the off taking or main canal, and cross regulator, it feeds the off taking canal. Cross regulator. And head regulator, it serves as a meter for measuring discharge of water, and cross regulator, it is used as a roadway as discussed earlier. Then we are going to discuss the maintenance of the canal. Maintenance of canal is very important part for the irrigation engineering, and we are going to discuss the preventive measures. First of all, prevention is better than cure, you know that. So prevention of the defect is very important, and to prevent that defects we have to maintain that canal in such a way that there should be a lining and there should be a field channels. Then volumetric assessment of water charges so that farmer will use the water economically. Then proper disposal of the rainwater is also important. Lowering the full supply level of water, that is also important. Adopting the proper crop pattern by the farmers, that is also important for the canals. Proper field management by allotting suitable grades and leveling of the land, that is also important. And constructing the intercepting seepage drains are also important for preventive measures for maintenance of canals. Then remedial measures. Remedial measures, following steps are to be taken for removing the waterlogging conditions of an affected area. First is provision of tube well and wells for lift irrigation from the groundwater as seen in Marathwada and drought prone regions. Then lining of canal is also important. Construction of drainage system is also important, and improvement of natural drainage is also important. These are the remedial measures. So you must know the preventive measures, you must know the remedial measures. And prevention of salt effluence, there are notes on waterlogging and salt effluence. So you must know what is the waterlogging and what is the salt effluence. Waterlogging should be avoided by using suitable method of irrigation to prevent the salt effluence. Salt effluence is nothing with the deposition of the salt on the surface of the soil. There should be proper rotation of the crops. Optimum quantity of water shall be used, not less, not more. Suitable method of alteration will reduce the surface evaporation, and use of suitable chemical composition of soil and water. These all factors are important for prevention of salt effluence. So you must remember all these things. You must remember aqueduct, you must remember super passage, level crossing, you must know the inlet and outlet, you must know the all types of canal escapes, you must know the outlets, that semi-rigid model, rigid model, Kennedy, what he has invented. So you must remember all these things, and also you have to remember the maintenance of canal system with preventive measures, with remedial measures, and you must know what is the waterlogging and salt effluence. So it is enough for this lecture, and best of luck for preparation of MPSC mains examinations. I know you are doing better due to Diwali festive season. I can't deliver more lectures, but I am going to complete this irrigation lectures, and then I am going to revise whatever I described on this YouTube channel. I am going to revise that before your examinations dated 18 December 2021. So best of luck. Thank you and bye.